say this right. Just try. I wanna be the only one to make it to the light. I take it to the edge where I live 1,000 lives. Or maybe I could be the one right into the setting sun tonight. Just try.
We're at the BRDC Clubhouse,
Yep.
Silverstone. Nice and wet outside as normal.
It's terrible, huh?
It
Normal,
is.
normal British weather.
Normal British weather, exactly. Well, last time I saw you, January, we were sort of at the factory in Brackley.
Yep.
What has been your number one priority since then?
Familiarization in the team, trying to learn people's names, understand who's talking when we're doing like the interview, when you're doing the conference call after the tests, and trying to learn the mechanics' names and know who's doing what job. Those kind of been the most real priority, which I'm struggling at, but I'm slowly getting
I
there.
struggled as
So many people in the team.
Yeah,
it's
there
unreal.
is, yeah. And of course you've got a new engineer, so that's a new relationship that starts
Engineers,
up. Yeah.
yeah.
Pete Bonington is Bono
Yep.
is his name.
And job.
How's all that gone? How's that sort of gelled?
It's going really well. I mean, when you first get into the team, you just have to kind of sit back and listen. Just kind of, then you can kind of take a judgment on what you think of what the people are like in terms of how good they are. And so far, the guys are fantastic. They've got so much knowledge and great experience of racing, and they're really hungry to win, to succeed, which is great to see in engineers. And and they've just thrown tons of information at me, and I say, no, don't need that one, but need that one. And it's just great to work with new people. It's always nice working with new engineers.
Is it different? Is it new? It's
very new.
Right.
Very new. Yeah, because they just do different things. They
so the whole
from their
philosophy
previous experience, what their previous driver wanted was a lot different to what I have experienced or ever knew that I was able to have.
Sure.
So there's many more options that I'm actually finding. Oh wow, I didn't even know you could look at that into great detail. So I'm learning all these new things, which is great.
Okay. And as far as Mercedes themselves, what's the biggest asset they have, do you think?
Well, I guess I'm still discovering it, I think. But I think it's team spirit is probably the biggest asset they have. There's a real great spirit in the team, which you would, being from another team, being at McLaren, you would never really, it's difficult to see that necessarily. Sometimes from the outside, from another team, it's not until you actually get in and get involved that you can actually see it. But there's a great atmosphere at the team, and it's nice to be somewhere where it's nice to have a different feeling where they've not had all the glitz and glamour, all the success, all the attention over the years, and they're hungry for that success. They're really hungry for that success, but in a real humble way, which I quite like.
So since Jerez, there seems to have been a big performance sort of jump. Have you noticed a difference in the morale in the team from that?
Well, I've been told that there's quite a big difference since the start of the year. So, but obviously I wasn't there before, so I didn't know what it was like before then. But definitely, I've generally just seen the team are just getting more and more positive as we do the tests, and again, as more and more we have good results in those test days and positive feedback. But they just seem like a real happy bunch of people and a group of people anyway. So, but of course, when we made a good step in Barcelona at the end. But every test from Jerez, the cars were fresh and brand new. We had a couple of bad days, and then we caught up. To be able to catch up what we did, 130 laps, 140 laps at one day, and become the team that's done, I think, with the second and third most kilometres, distance-wise. So it's quite an achievement.
Yeah. And is that an important thing for you, moving from McLaren to here, that you want to have that sort of great relationship within it, but in an easy fashion? Is it something that you just wanted, that sort of slight difference?
Well, you got to have that relationship in the team, but yeah, just having it's it is just a different feeling. It's so difficult to explain it. It's just a different feeling being in a new office, surrounded by different people, and it's just really fresh and new, and just really great experience so far. And I've got so much to learn still, so many more people to meet, still areas and departments that I haven't been to yet in the factory. And like last night I went to, when I was in the factory after the simulator, I went to the aero department, and then there was other parts of the aero department that I hadn't been, and met a couple of people from the machine shop there that are working on the aero components for the.
Were they warm to you? Because I know you were quite critical of the aero sort of in the first sort of couple of tests.
Yeah,
Is that
I mean,
something
they
that
have.
they were shocked to hear that?
I think they weren't really happy with it, but I think what's important, I made sure that when I spoke to Ross and to Mike Elliott, I made sure I said, "Yeah, just so you know, you guys are doing a fantastic job. But what I think we need to do is go and visit those departments so they can actually hear, because when you're talking to the media, you have to be a certain way, you know, and at the moment, what do you complain? You can't complain about anything, but you need to be able to put things into perspective, so that we don't go to the first race and when we get, if you get blown away, then you can't be disappointed with it. You know what I mean? If you know where you stand already. So that's really what I was just trying to position ourselves in a position where anything above a certain level will be a bonus.
Do you feel you've made a big impact in the team? Do you think there's sort of new belief that they can win more races now you've joined?
I don't know. You have to ask some of the mechanics or the engineers or the people that. I hope so. I hope I've had a positive impact on them.
Have you got a feeling?
I have a feeling there's a real positive feeling in the team, and obviously they've already got a great driver in Nico. They've had Michael Schumacher, and so to have another driver that's been at the top or is at the top is definitely a positive for them. And I definitely feel, and I've had comments from people that we're really happy to have you in the team. It really gives us a good boost, and so that's a great feeling for me to hear that, because it's nice to be somewhere you really wanted,
And you talk with Nico. You were teammates back in 2000 in karting. Yeah. You beat him then.
A long time ago.
A long time ago.
He's come a long way since then. So
is that going to continue?
I don't know. We'll see. You know what? I have to put take my hat off to him. He's a great guy, Nico, and he's working incredibly hard. He's a very, very intelligent individual. Speaks like 10 languages or something silly. So and
smart aleck.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I've always said that, because years ago we used to be around like a German, Italian, French, and English, and he would be able to speak to all of them in their languages, and I say, what are you talking about? And he would tell me the wrong thing. So I think, you're smart ass. He really used to upset me, but he used to do that on purpose because he knew that it got to me. But it doesn't affect me now because I know his ways. But no, he's working really hard. And the way Formula One is, it's so easy to be competitive. It's generally very easy to be competitive with your teammates, especially as you got the data now. You can compare overlays. It's so, everything's shared between you and the other driver. So the only way you can have an advantage is literally in your pure driving skill, really. So it's going to be neck and neck, I'm sure, and hopefully the best man will win. But I mean, at some stages, without doubt, there'll be some races that he wins, and there'll be some races that will win or beat him, and vice versa. And that's the name of the game.
Now, I think you deserve more championship wins. What are you going to do differently this time around to try and achieve more?
I don't know. I'm working on it.
That's not a good sign.
No, there's no real solution. But I think every year you just, you take the good bits out of the year and you try and build on that. And it's kind of like, it's like building blocks. Sometimes you get a bad brick and you make a mistake, and you just have to learn from them. And I really feel like I've been learning quite a lot, particularly in the last year. It was a real good year for me in terms of certain mistakes and things like that, and I felt like I was growing a lot as a driver. And this experience I've had over the last couple of months, working with these new engineers and seeing all these new things that I can learn, I'm realising, wow, there's so much more I can learn as well. And but on the driving side, I feel quite solid. I feel that's been a really good area for me. So I'm really hoping that with all the lessons that I've learned, I've got a stronger platform to work off this year. I really hope that that enables me to. But I've got to have the car still.
Yeah.
So but I feel like I'm able to have more of an impact here.
Yeah, it's going to be what, 2-3 years you're looking down the line?
For the championship?
Yeah.
Well, our goal is always to win every year. So
But you've got to be realistic sometimes.
you have to be
haven't
very
you?
realistic, definitely, and that's what we have to be this year. But it'd be wrong of me to say that we don't want to win the World Championship this year. Every guy that's working flat out at the factory, guy or girl working back at the factory, wants to win. They want to succeed this year, as do I. But I think we have to take it one step at a time, and it's going to take some time. And if it means that we build a foundation this year and then we have a chance of winning next year, then great. If we have a chance of winning at some point this year, then that's going to be a bonus for us, because the team was fifth last year. If I can work with Nico and get them higher in the championship this year, that'll be a real positive for me.
Yeah, and you said about the friendship with Nico. Is that something you'll sacrifice to win those championships?
I think, yeah, I mean, every driver has to make sacrifices. I think relationships, as long as you respect one another, that's the most important thing. So as long as we keep that respect between each other, undoubtedly when you have that fierce competitiveness and competition, it brings stress on the relationship, but that's the way it is. And I remember years ago when we were brought together as teammates, Ron sat us down and in Hockenheim, and he said, it was back in 1997.
Okay.
Were you racing then?
Sadly, yes, just.
You were?
Yes.
So 1997 in Hockenheim,
Yeah.
and
Glad you remembered.
and he said, "Are you guys going to be mature enough to be teammates and remain friends?" And we did it back then, so I don't see why not. We can't do it now.
Yeah. Well, moving on to Australia, you won
Yeah.
back in 2008. What is it about the track that is a challenge for you? What sort of parts of it
Well, it's
do
like
you
it's-
really enjoy?
It's like a street circuit, so it is a street circuit, which is it's just great. So it's really bumpy, and there's a lot of skating around there. It is. You have quite a lot of downforce there, as much as you can really put on the car. Not loads of runoff areas. But it's rapid. It's such a great circuit, and the weather's always great. The turnout usually there is spectacular, and also, particularly the last couple of years, the tyres have been changing quite a lot, so you don't know what's going to happen there. We're talking about at the moment. We're saying the Pirelli guy said that the super soft tyre might not last 6 laps. So when you start the race and immediately you're going to be pitting, you have to make the medium tyre last as long as possible. It could be a 3, could be a 4 stop, who knows? Yeah. And it's not till you kind of get into the first couple of races you kind of start to settle down and understand everything. So it's always the most exciting race at the beginning of the year, because you don't know also where people stand in terms of performance. But I love the track because I love street circuits, and that really means you put the driver to the test.
Last year you finished third. Probably a bit disappointed with that one. But would you take that now, or have things moved on, especially in that sort of latter test in Barcelona?
Well, right now I'd definitely take a third. I think it'll be a massive positive for the team, and it'll really be a very good starting stone for us. But last year was, of course, I would love to have won. I just don't like. I like to be going forwards, and I started pole and I went back 2 places, or a place. 2 places. So I mean, it's, what it's like. What you would, if you start 5th and you come 4th, that's a positive, because you at least went forwards. But I'd never like to go backwards. Don't like to be overtaken.
Sure. Well, I wish you all the best, and I hope it's a good time for. I'm sure it will be. I think everybody's behind you. That's for sure.
Oh, so thanks a lot.
No problem.
Watch all 6 Sky Sports channels on your mobile and online.